NichBoy and welcome to Ask Pocket. Ask Pocket, of course, is what happens when you take a pocket, you cuff it to the table, you shine a light in its eyes, and you scream, "Where were you on September 11?" Our first question comes in from Guru Eden. Why do companies stop producing DLC? I would buy every Fallout 4 DLC they ever produced, surely licensed to print money. Guru, if you say that too loud, then the devs will hear you and we'll never get a new game again. And while I'm sure you would actually buy every piece of Fallout 4 DLC ever, making you one of the biggest problems in video games today, at some point the devs want you to buy Fallout 5. And they can't make Fallout 5 if they spend all their time releasing disappointing expansions and Red Roach armor. Also, you as the consumer, aroused though you are by the idea of constant Fallout, would get fatigued by buying all these DLC expansions. You bought the base game for $80, and if 5 years later they're still selling you more content, you're going to wonder why they didn't include all of this on the disc in the first place. Which is why when you see games that have a long DLC shelf life, they're generally games that are a platform like Skylanders or their competitive multiplayer. That content is what keeps the community fresh and invested, and a huge amount of players will buy it because otherwise the playlist will leave them behind. Whereas single player games will wrap up their story in the base game, so any DLC after that is considered non-essential content. And that means it's not going to be as profitable as the original game. Plus, don't you want new games you can eventually buy DLC for? So let's just keep your crazy idea between the two of us, Guru. Our next question comes in from Sarah. Do you enjoy being bossy? Quiet, Sarah. Meow Indeed writes in. How are you going managing with Bajo's workload? What does your day involve to get it and Pocket done? I've actually got this question quite a bit, but Meow, you are the chosen one. Yes, technically I am working 2 jobs at the moment, but luckily both Pocket and Good Game are fluid, malleable beasts. Like Gak. And even though they have deadlines, there's a lot of flexibility on when I can get the work done. So technically at the moment, my week begins on a Thursday. That's generally when I get given the games that I will be reviewing for Good Game. So in the morning, I record Pocket News, then head home and start playing. Friday, I come in, record Pocket News and Ask Pocket, and then I keep playing whatever I'm supposed to be reviewing. And while I'm doing it, I'm taking notes and I'm sort of forming arguments in my mind. And I'm also capturing all of the footage so that we can use that in the review. And the same thing happens over the weekend. This includes any group gameplay capture sessions we need to do for multiplayer games. And then on Sunday night, I smash out a first draft of a review. Monday morning I'm in, do Pocket News and This Week in Games, and then we'll also generally record our Pocket gameplay episode that goes to air on Tuesday as well, just to get ahead of the week. Monday morning, there's a read through of the scripts we wrote over the weekend, and then that night we can make any changes we need to, and then we come in on Tuesday, I shoot Pocket News in the morning, and then head down to the studio for the day to shoot Good Game. After the studio, we might also film a roundtable like the one we have in next week's episode, or a segment like Madden from this week's episode. Wednesday morning, I'm back in to do Pocket News, and then we also film whatever episode we are putting out for Pocket that day. This week I spoke to Ben Penrose about Horizon 3. We then shot Thursday's episode of the Turing Test. I went through my Fallout script and gave the editor's notes on what footage I think would work best in the episode. And then I sat down and I wrote this very answer that I'm saying to you right now before I streamed Zero Time Dilemma for 2 hours and had my mind completely broken. And that's kind of the end of the week until the whole thing kicks off again on Thursday morning when Elliot bursts in and says,
Nick, I thought we'd review a 200-hour puzzle game this week.
Sounds great, Elliot. Our next question comes in from my forced answer to Elliot whenever he asks how I am. Doing super. Does anyone at GGTV play free browser games, etc., or do you just stick with paid professional games? I ask because I have no money and no consoles, so I play a lot of free and very good browser games and was curious about you guys. Super, we actually don't. Occasionally there will be a weird browser game like Quap or Agar.io or that Facebook basketball or soccer game which sort of captures everyone's imagination and we all fight for the high score and then we get beaten by John. But they never really seem to stick with us. And it's not to say we don't play free-to-play games. Because we all have our Dotas and Clash Royales and Heroes of the Storms, but not too many browser-based options. And I guess for me, it's because if I'm going to play something fun and quick and free, then I'm probably gonna do it on my mobile phone while I'm pretending to listen in a meeting, rather than sitting in front of my very expensive computer that I sold a testicle to buy. And it might seem weird that I'm answering this question since I have no recommendations for you, but actually I'm interested in what are the very good browser games you play, or anyone else for that matter. So let us know in the comments what we're missing out on. Our final question comes in from Ethan Cat. Will video games ever fill the broken void left in my heart after Sharon left me? Please, Nick Boy, I need to know. She was everything. Probably not, but Sony would like you to buy the hat anyway. That is it for Ask Pocket today, my Pocketeers. If you have asks for next week's episode, please let me know in the comments below or on Twitter with the hashtag AskPocket. Until you next have asks. My Pocketeers, Nick Boy out. Got all sad there at the end because I can't pronounce asks. Good. Yes, I deserve that. Put it on the internet. You know how most times when you're on a ship, the door to the outside is actually, you know, right next to the toilet? Here we go. Here we go. Speaking of a toilet, wouldn't want to get that confused because I'm just going to be trapped in there with some sticky buttons.